Welcome to this video that shows you how to generate printed reports from Recollector. Recollector includes a wizard that takes you through the steps needed to generate nicely formatted, compact printed reports or PDF reports from your collection. And let me show you how it works. I'm showing this using my map collection and running on a Mac, but it looks very much the same if I were to be running on the PC. From the File menu, you choose Generate Printed Report with Wizard, and that brings the wizard up. The wizard will step you through the necessary choices that you need to make to configure the report to be exactly what you want. Let me show you what these choices are. Initially, there's a choice on whether you want your report to cover your entire collection or just a particular subset. Let's switch, and I'm going to choose one of the subsets in my collection and just report on that. I also get to choose a font size, and I get to choose several aspects of the layout of the report, whether it's compactly laid out with possibly multiple fields on a single line or not, and as well whether when you have a lot of text, whether it justifies that text. The header image is something I will come back to a little later in this demo. Let's move to the next step. Okay, the next step is asking you which fields should appear in the report. You don't have to have all the fields in your collection show up in the report, and there's several ways of narrowing it down. One of the ways is to use what's called a field profile, and there's another video in this set that describes how field profiles are created and used. So I'm going to use the field profile choice here, and I have a bunch of field profiles defined for my collection, and I'm going to use this one called website because that works well with my collection for printed reports as well. If I want to fine-tune the list of fields that are going to appear, I can choose the radio button up above and click this choose button, and now I see here's the fields that originally came from the profile, but let's say, for example, I don't want the zoomable image, and let's say I want the date to appear right after the ID number. So I've made a couple of changes, and we'll apply those. You then have some choices regarding the size of the images that appear in the report, as well as whether or not labels should be omitted. Labels typically can be left out since images are mostly pretty self-explanatory. Let's move to the next step. The next step covers the sort order of the records in the report. By default, it uses the current sort order, which in my case is ordered by MapMaker, but let's say I want to sort by something else. Let's say I want to sort by date. I can choose what I want to sort by date, ascending, and that's what the report will use. Finally, you can generate one or two indexes for the report. The index pages come after the body of the report, and just like the index in a book, they will provide a table of all the values of whatever field you ask for to index by, and will tell you which item in the collection and what page number of the report you can find that item on. So let's make an index by MapMaker. And sure, we can include the ID number in the index. We'll see how that works. Additionally, you have a couple of choices at the end here as to whether or not you want a separate page in the report that shows you the totals for all your currency fields and numeric fields. And finally, you have a choice as to whether or not each item in the report should start on a new page. By default, if items aren't very long, the report will put multiple items on a single page, but you can override that here. Okay, we're just about ready to take a look at the report. But before we run the full report, it might be nice to look at a single page as a sample, just to make sure that the choices we've made generate a report that looks like what we want. So to do that, I'll turn on this Test Run Only checkbox and then click Generate Report. And at this point, print dialog comes up, and I'm not going to send it to the printer. I'm, in this case, going to look at the report in PDF in the preview application on this Mac. And so here's the report that was generated. And you can see it's got the fields we specified in the order we specified. It's got the images in the size we specified, and it mostly looks kind of right in terms of what I wanted to generate. Maybe though the image is a little bigger than I want. So let me close down this preview, and here it's asking me, do I want to make any adjustments? In this case, yes I do. So let's click that. Brings us back to the wizard. Let's step forward to where the size of the image is specified, and let me make it a little smaller. Make it 200 by 200. And now we'll move ahead and again click Finish. And let's just do a test, one more quick test run. Okay, so this is pretty much the same, but we can see now that the image is a little bit smaller, which is what we wanted. So I think we're ready to go and ready to generate the full report. But let me actually do one other thing before I actually do the full report generation. I'm going to move ahead to the end here. And notice down at the bottom on this window, not only up above can I select whether to do a test run, at the bottom I can decide, do I want to save the set of choices that I've made? It's actually a little cumbersome going through the wizard and making all those choices to get exactly the right appearance that you want. So once you've done that, it would be nice to save that as a template. So the next time, let's say a month later, I come back and want to run my report again, I don't have to go through all those choices. I can say, just use the template we've saved before. So I'm going to turn on this Save as New Template checkbox, radio button, and call this Report Template number 1. And now I'm ready to generate the full output. So let's do it. And let's look at it in PDF. Okay, I'm going to make this a little smaller so it fits inside my video screen window, and I will scale it down so we can see a full page. So here's what the report in its full form looks like. It starts with a cover page. It proceeds on with individual pages for items. Notice that in some cases, like what we see right here, it's put 2 items on a page because 2 items, in this case, fully fit. If they don't, we just get 1 item per page. And let's scroll down to the end to take a look at the index that we got. Here it is. And to look at that more easily, I'm going to increase the size again. So here we are generating an index by mapmaker. So you see an alphabetical list of the map makers. We see what entry number in the report it is, what page in the report you can find it on, and what the ID number for that item is. If I had 2 indexes, this first index would be followed by a second one, so you can index by up to 2 different things. So this looks good. Let's say that a month has gone by and I now want to generate my report again. I've added new data to my collection, and so I come in and I'm ready to generate the report again. Let's go to Generate Printed Report with Wizard, and now notice on the first step here there's an additional set of information down here at the bottom which lets you choose to use an existing template. And I want to use that template that I created the last time I generated the report. So I can go directly to Use Template. And right now I could go and click Generate Output and I would get my final output. But I actually want to make one change to the set of choices I made before. So I'm going to say stay in the wizard, and I'm going to move forward to the step 2 page, because here's this business about a header image. If you want, you can have at the top of each page of your report an image that kind of brands or describes your collection. And is completely optional, but let me show you what it looks like if you do this. I'm going to browse for a particular image to use, report banner.png. The image you use for the header image should be a wide image and not tall. It will scale it down to 64 pixels high if it's taller than that, but in general you should try to create an image that is 64 pixels or less high and can be as wide as you want to fit across the page. Okay, so we've added that, and now we'll go right to the end. And let me just show you one page of the generated output. Okay, so here it is, very much like what we saw before, but now it has my branding image at the top. Obviously, if you were a gallery or something and you wanted an image to represent the name of your gallery or the name of your business, you could put that on. Again, as I mentioned, it's completely optional, but it's another way to make the report look just like what you want. Okay, I'm not actually going to do a full run right now. I'm going to cancel because I'm really done at this point showing you how you generate printed reports from within Recollector.